Hey everybody, I'm Quadbro FPV, and today I'm going to be doing part 3 of my MonsterQuads XR225 build. And in this portion we're going to be setting it up all on the computer and in Raceflight and blah 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 ESCs, you know. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'll be running Raceflight 1 on this rig because why not? Raceflight 1 is awesome. So first of all, I'm gonna download the latest version, RC15. So we'll just go ahead and click that and give it a little bit of time. Alright, so now we got that downloaded, and we can go ahead and plug in the USB on the board. Shouldn't be too hard unless you live under a rock. Then you want to go to update firmware, and then you want to click load firmware locally, and it'll be right there here in your downloads folder, and you want to go ahead and click on that, and then we will just give it some time to flash. Alright guys, so the firmware has been flashed, so we can go ahead and click OK, and then it'll reboot really quickly, and then now we can start setting it up. So the first step, you're just gonna want to go through all of these steps here. So we'll go to first one, set up flight controller. So it says place your quad flat. It's flat on the table. You can't really see it because, you know, I'm recording on the computer only. So I have it level, and you want to click next, and then you want to have it facing down on its nose. So let me just do that really quickly. I don't know how accurate the facing down needs to be. Alright, so I got it. I'll go ahead and click next. So it says FC orientation setup success, so that's good. Got that step done. Now I'll go to the second one, detect receiver. So it says you want to turn on your radio, so I'll go ahead and turn on my Tyrannus. Radio's on, and the receiver is bound. If you don't know how to bind FreeSky receiver, just go look up a video somewhere on YouTube. There's plenty tutorials on it. And I'll just put my Tyrannus over here a little bit so it doesn't go into any fail-safes from being too close. And now we'll go ahead and click next, and we will let it do its thing. Alright, so it found the receiver, so now we're done with this step. Alright, now let's move on to step number 3, which is set up radio. Alright, so again, turn on your radio. Mine's still on. And then you want to move your sticks to the most like the edges for about 15 seconds. So go and click next. Okay, did that. Throttle at the top. Alright, then I think it needs to be centered. Push the yaw stick to the right. Okay, I think I can put the throttle idle now. Push the pitch stick up, and then roll to the right. Okay, and for my arming switch, I'll be using, I believe, switch F, and yep, things are about to get real. Alright. I need to set it to disarm position. Alright, you can click next. Now you can flip it to the armed position. Yep, things are about to get real. And you can click next. Now it's done. So you can see armed channel 5, which is this switch. You want to be sure and set up the switch in the Tyrannus first. There's also videos on that. So see when it's armed now. And I think what I'll also do, I'll set up the direct thingy on channel 5, and I'll just set that to be on when I'm armed. So go ahead and click save here, and it's gonna save. Alright, that's good. Now we're gonna want to do, I believe we can turn off our Tyrannus now. Okay, so now we want to do step 4, which is update our ESCs. So when you're plugging your quad in on the bench, remove your props. Bad things could happen. Anyways, let's go on. Alright, so we need to have the props removed, which I do, and then we'll connect the battery. We'll let it do its startup tones. And what I believe we're doing is we're updating the firmware and configuring them and stuff like that. Alright, so that's all done. We'll check that and click next, and it says it needs 2 minutes. Apparently not. So it was already up to date really, but we got it all set up and stuff. So now we go ahead and click done, and then we can click step 5, calibrate motors. So it wants us to, again, keep your props removed and disconnect the battery, so I've done that, and we'll click next. Okay, so now we gotta plug it back in, and then we need to wait until all the tones are done, and then we can press OK. Alright, that's all. Now we can press OK, and then it'll do its finishing calibration sounds. Alright, calibrated. So now we can click done. And then finally, step 6, we can do the fix motor direction and idle. So you need to make sure that your once again, props removed, and your battery is connected. Both of those are true, so I'll go ahead and check that, and then we can click next. So let's see, our motors are all spinning, so that's good. They're all spinning in the right direction. Okay, so that's good. Okay, now we just gotta wait for all the tones, and then we can click OK. Excuse me. Alright, so let's go ahead and start the motors. This is kind of a tedious step in my opinion. So, see, the front two are right, and back two are right. Confirm that. Now, we have set our motor idle, so really, it's ready to fly. But one thing I found, let's see, I need to turn my Tyrannus on. Alrighty. One thing I found is, when Raceflight sets up the min throttle itself, it seems to be really high. Well, not anymore actually. On the previous versions of Raceflight 1, the RPMs were, or the idle RPM was at like 1200 or something. And yeah, that was kind of bad because you didn't have as much float in your inverted hang, so you can hear they're pretty low now. So what I think I'll do, I'll go to console here. I think I usually set it 4, so I'll go ahead and do that. So you want to type set idle percent equals 4, yeah, that, and then hit enter and set idle, what's the command? Let me scroll back up. Idle percent INV, whatever that means. I'll set that to 4 as well. And hit send, then save. Okay, now we can go back to setup, just cause, and we'll arm it. That sounds good. I might turn it up, I don't know. Anyways, let's go on to configuration. And I do not want double arm on, so I'll just turn that off. And it's already got the receiver stuff set up here. I have Tyrannus telemetry because I'm using the Lua script, and I'll use 32 kilohertz because why not? Multi-shot, I'll just use multi-shot because I don't know how to do the D-shot stuff. So go ahead and save that. There we go. Now we can go to PID tuning, and we'll just leave the PID stock, and I think I'll put filtering at, I'll put it at ultra low filtering, just to see how it does. And I'll do Raceflight high expo BB whatever, and then I usually have my rates like this: 300, 300 to 40, then 300, 300, and 300. And that gives me 1200 degrees per second on roll and pitch, and that's perfect speed for me, and 960 degrees per second on yaw, which is good for me. 75 expo, 75 expo, I think 65 expo on there. So we'll just give that a try, because I can't remember what my expo is that I usually have set. So now let's go to the ESC tab, and I have my battery plugged in. I can just go ahead and turn off my Tyrannus, and there goes the tones again. Okay, and on these DYS motors, I have the timing at medium high, because since the magnets aren't arc magnets and they're not as close to the stator, I guess I'm able to spin them at higher RPMs. So I just keep it like that. And I think I'll do crazy start tone for this one, because it kind of matches the whole theme, because, you know, MonsterQuads, and it kind of looks like an alien-ish, and the sound kind of is like alien, whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll set my startup power to 1, because that's usually what I do. It gives me a lot of torque on the motors. Or supposedly it does. So let's let that save, and we'll listen to it. Alright. Think I like that. So now we're done setting up Raceflight. You can see it's really easy to do. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take this outside and do a little maiden line of sight flight. Okay guys, so we're out here with the XR225 to maiden it. And as you can tell, it's rained a lot. There's a puddle out there. And so yeah, we don't want to go out there. We'll just keep it close and hovering. So let me go and turn on my Tyrannus.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Then we'll wait for it. We'll plug it in. There it goes. And I'll be using this set. I'll be using this set of used cyclone props, because I can test the filtering, and I don't feel like busting out a new set of them. So, and there's the dog.
Things are about to get real.
Alright, so let's go ahead. I'll be running it for 3 minutes. Sounds pretty smooth. I think I need some higher min throw. Put my Tyrannus into that. So we'll go over here and do a little speed test of it. Sure, not used to flying line of sight. So pretty good. The funny thing is about how smooth this is, one of the motors on there is like bad vibrations. Yeah, it still sounds fine after the motor stops. After the motor soft melts. being up props, so not even having oscillations, so no filtering. I don't want to do that faster like quad motor though, so how do you think? 30 seconds left on it.
20.
Let's go ahead and do a little throttle punch, just cause. Alright guys, so that was the maiden line of sight flight of the MonsterQuads XR225 and the rest of the build
Telemetry
video.
lost.
And hopefully you guys enjoyed this whole series and this flight and everything. So be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye.